is Jasmine Kara from Winner Magazine, and I'm here with Mark Richardson from 3XSR Studios. So Mark, why don't you tell us a little bit about the services that you offer and whereabouts?
Well, here at Savage Sound Studio, we offer mixing, mastering, recording, post-production. But the idea behind the studio was to make a one-stop shop, right? So pretty much when the artist comes in, we can offer lyric videos, art covers, music videos, merchandise, in-house. What else? Promotions, right? Spotify playlist placements, right? Major Spotify playlist placements, stuff like that.
Amazing. It's a full A to Z service.
Pretty much.
One of the reasons I come by. So, Mark, why don't you tell me a little bit about what inspired you to get started with? I called it 3XSR because that's what I see it as on Google.
Yeah, right.
And the 5-star rating really helped draw me in. But you said Savage Studios. Is that an alternate name?
Okay, yeah, so that's actually the funny story. So this room, right, it was an empty space before, right? And I wanted to actually talk to my guys, and I was like, okay, so I want to bring my microphone here and just start recording myself, right? And they were like, okay, let's make a studio, right? So we built everything ourselves. Took a while, but well, I mean, finally we got here. The name was actually funny. We were thinking about the Russian name because we're all Russians, right? So as you see, the logo, right, resembles the kind of an old USSR flag, right?
Oh.
So it's the microphone and the headphones, right? So we were thinking about what the first S should stand for in order to kind of like Savage. That sounds gangster, right? So Savage Sound Studio Records, right? So yeah, that was the kind of whole idea. To be honest, we didn't even wanted to make a studio in the first place. I just needed a place to record, but now we're here. Yeah, I enjoy what I do.
Wow. So you envisioned all that in this empty space that you'd seen.
Kinda, yeah, I guess.
I guess that stems from a personal motivation then.
I mean, obviously, right, I'm really passionate about music, so this is what I wanted to do personally. But, I mean, as soon as I started talking to different artists and recording them, I kind of realized that I want to help to build a community, right, and push them forward.
Right.
That's what we do here.
Now, how long ago did you open 3XSR or Savage Studios?
Year and a half ago.
That's pretty new.
Yeah, it is pretty new. A lot of people do not know about us, but what we're really trying to do, because it's a tight space, but it's a place to work in, right? So I don't like when artists coming in with their friends, right? They're getting drunk, they're getting high, right? I do not personally like to work with these kind of artists, because when you come here, I want you to focus on your project, right? So you come in, you record, right? And we really wanted to kill it with the quality, so we got the highest end gear there. Spend a lot of money on it, right? But definitely helps.
Now it sounds like you're taking every aspect of even the atmosphere very seriously. I know it's a startup, so to speak, but have you had any milestones that have sort of been, you know, defining points and getting closer and closer towards the company's vision or goals?
Well, I mean, the really first person who recorded here was Block at the Dawn, right? He's pretty well-known rapper in Toronto, right? So that was kind of cool because, yeah, we literally just bought the microphone, right? Set it up the gear, and then he stopped by the next day and then he recorded, and I was like, that's dope, right? Because, well, think about it, right? The first client you ever had is Block at the Dawn, right? Like, it's pretty dope, yeah?
That's actually a perfect segue into the next question I have for you, Mark. What are some of the strategies that have helped you grow so quickly, helped you get to that consumer group that you knew would be interested in the service you're offering?
Okay, so there is a lot of strategies, like social media promotion, Facebook ads, YouTube, right, whatever. I really try to make my content more educational, right, because, well, more you give, more you receive, right? But to be honest with you, mostly like the quality, right? I record an artist who really loves it here. He comes to his high school or his college or whatever it is, right? Especially in Toronto, so every second guy is a rapper. So yeah, he tells about the quality and my job, right? I'm really passionate about it, and you can hear it too, right?
Absolutely, and I've heard your work. You are definitely a passionate artist, and it comes through when you're doing the sound engineering. I've come in a couple times myself for recording, and Mark has been very, as you said, educational. You might wonder what that means in the context of a music studio or a sound engineer working with clients, but there's a lot of hands-on direction involved. Is that what you were alluding to when you did say that there's some educational aspect through the social media outlets?
Yes, what I try to do, I try to post little trick and tips on mixing and mastering, right? Because, well, say when I started, right, it was kind of hard for me. And I don't believe that people have to go to the college to learn about it, because nowadays you can watch anything you want on YouTube, right? So I kind of just try to, well, I mean, first, obviously inspire. Second, I will get clients, right? Like third, I will build a community, because in Toronto, everybody steps over each other, and this is what I personally do not like. And I think that artists is like a family, right? We all make music, so we should push each other forward, not try to step over each other, right? And take somebody else's place.
That's a really nice mindset to have. This whole teamwork, community. Driving factor in everything that you do, and when I walk in, there's quite a few people working here. Can you tell me a little bit about the workplace environment?
So this was not a recording studio before. That was a marketing agency, right? So as I said before, it's a one-stop shop, right? A lot of different people coming in here. We do a lot of different things, right? So but we are a team, right? We are more than a team, we're a family, right? We don't have employees, we have somebody that we work with, right? We treat them the same way, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you can't do it alone. You can't do everything by yourself, right? So you need somebody that you can count on. I believe that's pretty important, I believe.
It sounds like a very a nice place to work with, a distributed leadership kind of model. It's something that's become even more popular with the remote working, and it seems like you guys are right on it, and you have that organizational culture down packed. So then the follow-up question is that, was there any formal education, any hobbies, routines, or other experiences that you feel really profoundly helped you, not just with the skill development, but the learning how to run the business as well?
Well, I mean, I guess this is what we talked about just now. Being in a team really helps, right? Because, I mean, we're all humans, right? We make mistakes, right? We fail here and there, right? So this is why I need somebody that you can count on, who's gonna kind of show you, okay, so you messed up there, right?
Right.
So this is the next steps that you're gonna have to take in order to kind of cover your mistakes, right? Same in business. Say if you lose a client, you lost them, right? You can't get it back. So what do? With the next client that comes in, you just treat them different, right?
Deliberate practice, growth mindset. As an educator, that's something that I love and vouch for. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, the teamwork aspect.
Definitely it does. I do have like really beautiful mentors, right? They helped me a lot throughout the last couple of years, right? They're the, co-owners of the studio as well, right? So definitely, I learned a lot from them.
Wonderful. All right. Now, it sounds like things have been going pretty well over the past year and a half, and it's no secret that it's been a challenging year for a lot of businesses with the COVID epidemic.
Absolutely.
I think I'm getting the gist here that may have been a challenge. And the question is, have you incurred any challenges that were especially difficult to overcome? And what strategies worked to overcome those challenges?
Okay, so I'm not sure if I'm allowed to speak about it or not, but as you know, right, the businesses were closed, so it's just hard to bring a client to your business if it's closed, right? Like it's just kind of impossible to do so. But we found our ways around it, right? It was really hard at the startup. Why? Because nobody knows who you are, nobody trusts you, right? But you build a client base slow, but surely. More clients you get, better feedback you have, right? More reviews you got. To be honest, it's kind of like a what's the word? Word of a mouth, right? So if you do a great job, somebody's gonna tell it to somebody else, right? And that information will pass throughout the city, right? We try to work with a lot of different studios as well, right? Just to have better connections. And I'm always down to learn something else from somebody else, right?
Well, I know you were very proactive with asking for my honest review on Google. I gave Savage Studios a full 5 stars and well deserved. So I guess being proactive with getting those reviews has been important as well, right?
Absolutely. I mean, reviews is the most important aspect, right? Because if nobody sees your work, right, nobody knows who you are, they're not going to come to you, right? They're going to come to somebody who has whatever, 20, 40, 50, 100 reviews, right? They're not going to come to somebody who's like just opened up, right? Especially with the price range that we offer here, because we're in Richmond Hill and we have the highest end gear. It's not cheap, right? It's not cheap, but I do think that it's worth every penny.
I do think it's been worth every penny. Personal anecdote, so I came across Savage Studios because I'd been to a few other in the Toronto area, and I wasn't happy with the sound quality. There was background noise here and there, and this was sort of my last resort. I came down here, and overnight I had a perfectly clear recording that's intended for use with a very big producer who, you know, I did not want to disappoint, and this was the right venue to get it done. So thank you for providing that service. I've personally benefited.
I mean, not only you, right? You have a beautiful voice, but that's also the artist, right? Because a lot of people come to me and they're like, okay, so I heard you, you know how to make people sound good. I'm like, yes, I do, right? But then let's just say they're not the best, right? But they expect a lot. But I mean, by the end of the day, it's all about music, right? And if it sounds good, it sounds good. That's what I believe in. Doesn't matter what DAW you use, what kind of gear you're using as well. But
well, I think you've got a great intuition for what sounds good.
Thank you.
Now, you mentioned just a moment ago that you've worked with other studios in partnership, maybe to learn from them. Is there any other kind of resource sharing or even, you know, B2B networking that's benefited you in any way?
Yes, even right now, because I was the only sound engineer in the studio for a while, but I did want to get more engineers in the studio, right? So, say for example, if an artist comes in, he can work with different genres, right? Or maybe he wants somebody who's more experienced than I am, right? Maybe he wants somebody who works specifically with like indie music or like punk rock, whatever, right? So this is what I was trying to do, right? I was connecting with different producers, different engineers, right? And kind of figuring out what I can learn from them or what can I offer to them, right?
I think that's very specific and helpful information for anybody who's looking into getting into the sound engineering or recording business. Which brings me to one of my last questions. What advice would you give to some of our listeners, our readers, who are thinking, I want to do what Mark's doing. I want to open up my own Savage Studio kind of establishment. What advice would you give them?
I mean, if you're not ready to work hard, don't do it. Right? Just don't do it, right? Because there's a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of hours of work, unpaid hours of work, right? But at the end of the day, it's all about what you want to do in life, right? If you feel like this is what you want to do for real, if that's your passion, if that's your dream, if that's your goal, because there's a big difference between goal and dream, right? Because you can dream for the most of your life but never do anything, right? But as long as you take in actions towards your goal, right? I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter if the place looks like this, if the place doesn't look like it, if you have just one client a week, if you have 10 clients a day, you're gonna reach it at some point. I believe that the main thing that I can suggest is just, you know, listen to your head and follow your heart.
listen to your head and follow your heart.
Sounds cheesy.
No, I
Sounds
like
cheesy.
it.
Yeah. Sounds cheesy.
I don't think we could have expected lesser words from a brilliant lyricist, right?
Sure.
Now, sounds like you and your team have accomplished quite a bit in the past year and a half, and I'm sure you have a lot planned ahead with the momentum you've got going. So what can your clientele look forward to next?
Okay, well, I mean, we do have a couple of really talented artists that I'm personally working with.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to push them forward, right? I want to push them forward. I want them to represent the studio. Eventually make a label, because as I said, we do all the services that need it, right? Grow the community, right? Make better music. Make more money. Enjoy your life, right? That's
A
pretty
little bit
much
of
it.
everything, the creativity, the community, the money, it all goes hand in hand. And I can see the label framework laid out right
I
now.
mean, you know why? Because sometimes when you work too hard, you forget what it's for, right?
Mhm.
Because by the end of the day, it's not just, you don't live to work, right? You work to live, right?
Absolutely.
So I think that whatever you do, the main point is to enjoy it. Because if you don't enjoy it, there's, like, you shouldn't be doing it in the first place.
I think those are fantastic closing words. If you don't enjoy it, you shouldn't be doing it in the first place.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today.
Thank you, Jazz, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, if you're in the Richmond Hill area at any point, or in Toronto, and you're looking for a recording studio or marketing services,
Stop by. We'll record the fire track.
Savage Studio for fire tracks and more. Bye-bye now.